Hey Spuddies, Potatomcwhiskey here, and welcome to Let's Play Imperator Rome. So, the 1.1 beta patch is out, and it changes a lot of stuff in the game, and a lot of stuff is really interesting. I had to do a little test game to get used to the new mechanics. It's actually a surprisingly large patch for a 1.1 patch. I wasn't expecting just so much to change so quickly, but it really goes to show the developers are taking on the player feedback and really pushing to make this game better. So we're going to go ahead and start as a tribal nation. I'm thinking of starting as Bastarnier, just kind of as a throwback. We already kind of played them way back, but I have an idea that I want to try. I could play like Semonia or something. I mean, like, really, we can play any of these guys. I had fun doing this as Syria, I think it is. Skiria. But I think we're going to do this as Bastarnia because we've already played as them. Although, there is something to be said of playing as Semnonia. Because they have some interesting stuff. I mean, we could also do it as, like, Burgundia or something. But I'd like to play a tribe and try to, like, fill up all of this stuff in here. Now, I would much prefer to play a migratory tribe, I think. You know what, actually? Maybe I'll do Frisia. Or no, here, we're going to play Fosia. All right, I've made my decision. No, not Fosia, sorry. Yeah, Fosia. We'll play Fosia, because they're kind of trapped in here, and we're going to do something a little bit sneaky, a little bit interesting, and a little bit dangerous. So, they are a migratory tribe with the forest heritage and the archer's offense plus 10% and a 10% build cost increase. So it's more expensive to build buildings, but they only have 9 population, and we're going to do something kind of cheeky. What's that, you say? Well, the very first thing we're going to do is go into our government here and change our law to nomadic heritage, because we want to get our centralization down so that we can more easily migrate. So we'll pop that in there. That'll cost us a little bit of points. And then for our idea slots, we are going to, of course, take some stuff. We'll have to wait a couple of months to get the points for that. Now, what we would like to do is to start migrating. And I think to get started, the very first thing we're going to do is move all of our non-tribesmen pops into Chamavia, because that's the highest, most populated place, with the exception of the capital. So let's move this guy over to Chamavia. And we'll move this slave over to Chamavia. And we'll move this citizen over to Chamavia. So we have now got 6 migratory units that we will start expanding with. And it's going to be a bit of a weird one this time. So what we're going to do is begin the migration. It's going to cost us some stability, which will make our people a little bit unhappy, but that's okay, right? We'll migrate and we'll instantly break off one of these guys, because I want to show off just how nutty migratory tribes can get. And we're going to be doing a run here where we essentially try to stay 100% migratory for the entire game. Now, if we look at our decisions, we have to unite Swabia. And that means we have to kill all of the nations that are highlighted in green. And we're going to be working on that. But first of all, we need to grow in power. We need to grow in power, and we need to make friends. So I think I'm going to try to make friends with all of the people who I don't have to kill. Ideally, these guys. We can have up to 4 relations. Let's see. So these are all, I've allied myself with nations I don't have to go to war with later on. And we'll be working on that in the meantime. And this alliance is mainly just to protect me from getting war declared on me. Now we're going to take these 5 pops, and we're going to look around for somewhere to plop them down to get more pops. And it looks like Ansabaria is a good spot because it has 4 population in it, and we can plop down a full 5 stack there to take advantage of it. And then we'll have our full culture, and then we can immediately lift that population back up and start walking around and just gathering up a huge migratory population that we can sort of, you know, doomstack walk across the world. So in terms of trade routes in the capital, we have wood. I think I'd like to import another copy of leather so that I get light infantry defense. So my light infantry are a little bit better. And I don't think I'm going to make my army bigger just yet. But we're also not going to assign a leader. And I think we're ready to get started. Let's go up to maximum speed. Now, we are a little bit low on stability. And what we're probably going to want to do is do a sacrifice to the gods. And so the basic, I'll kind of explain our plan as we go. But we're going to do a sacrifice to the gods just to keep our stability high. And keep it recovering. But we're mostly going to be saving up to make religious endowments so that we can build up a huge population of citizens in our capital who will be really, really loyal and really, really powerful. So Fosia has a war warning here. So Fosia wants to go to war with Anglia. I'm going to accept that offer. So I'll break my alliance with Anglia. And then I'll immediately look for a new alliance. Just to keep myself defended. I want to have as many people on my side so that I can passively and carefully increase my power level. I'm not going to go ahead and take the defensive alliance. And we should now have enough power to take things. Now, ideally, I would be taking the monthly corruption. But in order so that my ideas will match, I'm going to take 2 military ideas so that I get this national tribesman output and the 1 point in every category per month, because that's actually pretty damn powerful. We'll take martial ethos here because we don't have any boat stuff that we can do. So we're going to settle down and we take this province for ourselves. And now, the dominant culture is not Swabian, but if we actually go into the demographics here, you can see it actually is the dominant thing. So if we just wait like a little bit of time, this button should update really quickly. Might take a moment. But Fosia is now warning us as well. And they want to go to war with Frisia. I'm going to decline this time. I think you're being a little bit too demanding. I'm going to say, unfortunately, we lose 50 gold here. But I will gain some religious power, which is nice. This should have updated by now. Well, one thing we can do is we can force an update by assimilating a pop here. I'm going to decline that. We're also going to be taking religious provincial investments because we want to start investing our points into religious endowments, which is a new button that will give us state religion happiness, which will allow us to get these citizens to be much, much happier. Now, unfortunately, my capital does not have a river. So that's a bit of a problem. What I really want to find is a place with a river. Yeah, there's the nearby river benefit. So I might move my capital over to this province here in Savaria. But that'll be sort of a long-term goal. I guess I am going to force update this on the next monthly tick. We'll assimilate, and now we can do the migration. And it'll cost us some more stability, but that's not a big deal. We'll raise this population. This time we will get 9 migratory units. And what we'll do is we'll immediately settle one back down. And then look for more places that we can do this. So we've got room to put 6 down here. Ideally, I want to find... I've got 8 migratory units, so I'd like to find a place with 7 or so pop. Because that would give me the maximum value of settling. It looks like I can't quite find it, so I'm going to go ahead and just accept the 5 pop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We want to have 6 so that we have a majority. And then we'll move 2 of our pop. Actually, this has a nearby river, frigid climate. I was doing this before over in Helvacona. And we really want that nearby river. Although maybe a port would be good too. Let me have a look here. A port with a river. Maybe we could set up our capital over here. Adjacent to major river. Is there a port benefit? Yeah, we definitely want to settle down near a major river. To move our capital to. Later on. In fact, we might even do that now. Yeah, I'm going to do that now with all of these pops. I'm going to bring the entire stack over and settle here. And we want to settle here because it has the plus 50% adjacent to major river, but it also has the plus 10% coastal. So we'll be able to stack a lot of population in here. And what we're going to be doing is moving our pop around, picking up all these, people and migrating them to the coastline, where we're going to build a super city on the coast to take advantage of some benefits to population capacity, so that we can build a really, really large civilization. Now, we are losing a lot of gold because these guys do cost maintenance, but that shouldn't be a big deal. So we'll settle right here. Now, I want to make this my capital. It will cost me 200 civic power, so we'll have to wait on that. Fosia still wants to go to war. I'm going to decline that offer. It looks like he's getting ready to break his alliance with me, because I keep refusing going to war with him, which is fine. We don't want to go to war yet because we're not strong enough. We want to build up our power by doing this sort of thing. Now, we could do the favor of Nerthus, but that's not what we want to do. What we want to do is save up our points. In fact, I might even do another sacrifice of the gods just to keep our stability a little bit higher, because it's making my people very unhappy. In particular, it's making like my citizens really unhappy and stuff like that. Now, if we really wanted to go hard on this, what we could do is move our entire population to one city and then just lift up. And in fact, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go straight to Jamavia here. I'm going to lift up my entire population, because this way it'll let me relocate my capital without having to pay. Oh, I have to move to the capital of Fosia to bring the unrest down, because the unrest is too high. And then I will start a migration. And then we're going to move over here. And this becomes our capital. So now we get the adjacent to major river and the capital city bonus and the coastal bonus. And we can start turning this into our capital. And this is a much better capital than what we had previously. Now, our troops are kind of stuck over here, and they won't be able to get through unless I can get military access with some of these guys. Maybe I could get military access from you. Thank you. We can bring all of our guys over to our capital. I don't mind you losing loyalty. I'm going to maybe do this. We're having a stability problem. We need to keep... Well, I think I'll hold on for that, because the stability problem will get less and less, and it's ticking up pretty quick on its own with a single sacrifice to the god, so that shouldn't be a big deal. I'm going to start building up. Now, being adjacent to Menapia might be a mistake, because they're actually pretty big and pretty scary, and they don't like me at all. But it should be fine. Go ahead and settle our entire population in this city. And then what we're going to do is lift up. Drop one back down. Start claiming all of these provinces. So I need 6 tribal people to settle there so that I have a majority. And then I need 5 to settle there so I have a majority as well. Then I should have 3 left over to look for a 2 population province, if I can find one. 2 pops in it. A 1 pop province should be just fine. Settle here. Settle here and settle here. So now we control... Now remember, we started off with 9 pops. We now have, well, it should say 36, but it says 12, or it should say 26. So we've basically tripled our population in these few short months. But we're not done yet. We're going to keep going. And as we start to spread, excess population will start feeding back towards our capital. That will be the goal. And hopefully, as our centralization ticks down, the stability cost, because like lifting up our population, this no longer costs oratory power. It only costs stability, which it's really bad if you have stability. But it's really bad if you have low stability, but the lower your stability is, the faster it grows. So over time, we'll get back to where we were, no problem. Now we are going to want to do a religious endowment here as soon as it's available. And there it is. Now, did I get the thing? I did. So is there anything else I want in here? I definitely want National Tribesman output because that's going to be the mainstay of our output. Now, our leader, I believe, has a little bit of a corruption problem. And that is causing us to have a 5% power cost, and he's taking a bit more wages. But we can live with that. That's fine. It does make our life that little bit harder. So, now that we can lift up again, I might wait for my stability. Although the lower it is, the faster it ticks back up. And we're mostly colonizing our capital province, which is perfectly loyal anyway. And by doing this whole lifting and stuff like that, what we're doing is we're actually changing the demographics of our country. By lifting and dropping and lifting and dropping. Because when you do a migration, all of the population converts to your culture and your religion. Now, I don't have enough stability to keep going, but we're gaining almost a full point of stability per month. And we want to settle primarily first in our capital region. So I need 4 people over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We will settle right there in this province right here of Tubantia. It'll take a bit of walking to get over there. Then we want 5 here. And then here we want 6. And then we'll take the spares to here and we'll plot another settlement. Now, I could lose loyalty. I might want to restore some loyalty with the low loyalty guys, so I'll take that option. We have a couple of clan retinues. You guys are in position. This is a 5 population province, so we'll settle. You guys are in position. I can't tell who's moving. You are. This is a 4 population province, so if I settle 5, it'll change the demographics to be in my majority. And similarly, this is a 3 population province, so if I settle 4, I'll have a majority again. Now I gotta look for a 2 population province, ideally, and there's one right there, and we'll go settle that. So I need more stability, so I'm gonna do another sacrifice to the gods. I was gonna do the religious endowments, but I think it's a little bit soon for that. National Freeman happiness. I want to make sure that I'm not trading away surpluses. So I don't want to trade away any of my surplus resources, and we will combine and settle down here. So now, it might be mistaken again, but we have even more pops. We have what looks like 30 something. Now they want to import salt from Frisia. And I have a surplus of salt, so that's fine. I don't mind trading away a little bit of salt because I have a surplus of 2, so it's fine to trade those away. In terms of importing, we will import eventually into our capital because every trade route you have in your capital will increase the population capacity. We're going to be playing around with this population capacity pretty heavily. We are going to be trying to build essentially a super capital filled with citizens and freemen and stuff. That's why we want to do religious endowments, to make these guys happier, even though we have really low stability. But for now, we're just going to sit steady and wait for our stability to tick up and our centralization to tick down so that we lose less stability every time we do this. I will sell the fish. It will hurt my local population growth a little bit, but I think that's worth it for the gold income. And I'm going to move these guys around, and I'm going to recruit another archer, just to make my army just that little bit more dangerous. These should be ready to pick up soon, and it looks like the update has rolled through, and they're ready to pick up, but we do have to wait a little bit. So, our plan is to grow so powerful that none of these guys can stand against me. And we're going to try and fill in all this terrain, essentially, just like spreading across the land, filling up Germania with our tribe, and then slowly, one by one, eating all of these little guys. Once we're so powerful that we can't be touched. It'll take a while to get there, don't get me wrong. But hopefully we'll have a good time on the way. So 4 years have passed. We've migrated over to Belgium. We still have our mission to unite Swabia, and that will be something we want to work on. I also still own this little province over here, which is kind of funny to me. It's in the capital region, so we're not suffering too bad in terms of loyalty, but if our stability stays too low for too long, it will become a big problem. So you can see now it's only costing me 6.87 to migrate. And now slaves I might want to keep around because they provide gold. So I think I might keep slaves around and move them to my capital. Now I believe, my capital is this. And I chose this spot because it's a major river. Now it doesn't have a port, sadly. I think, do port cities get a bonus? Yeah, the coastal port gets plus 25%. But we have the major river benefit and coastal, so I think that's a good enough bonus. So let's move these slaves to the capital of Thracium. There. Because they will be more valuable there, and they'll also produce surplus goods there. So any slaves we find, we're going to want to move them towards the capital because they'll produce more for me. Even if they are the wrong culture or whatever, we'll fix that over time. Because unrest in my capital doesn't really matter. And it's going to bring the population up, which I mean, eventually I'll be able to build more buildings. Stability is ticking up, and I'm about to knock it down again. I could lose the 17 to get 100 religious power. I will take that, and then immediately start working on religious endowments to bring up the happiness of the people following my religion in the capital city, because eventually I'm going to fill it with citizens and slaves and freemen to make it into essentially a super capital class battle city. Super capital class battle city. So we want to look for the highest population region here. We want to get the most bang for our buck when we do lifting and shifting. So let's go ahead and drop that guy back down. I want to look for a 6 or 7 province. There we go. I think we'll pop down here with our people. We'll put 7 in there and we'll send 1 to the capital. So that's what I was talking about, the excess. We'll be sending the excess back to the capital to fill up the population in here. And eventually we'll be converting them to all sorts of different populations and stuff. We'll settle there. And then we've captured another city. Now this one will have pretty negative happiness because they are starving, which kind of sucks. But hopefully once the year ticks around, we'll be able to lift this back up and keep it moving. There's no slaves here to move around. That's fine. But we want to keep these outclaves or whatever you want to call them relatively low pop, and then start centralizing the population to continue to do migration. So slowly, we do lose 5% of our population output, but once this is finished, we'll get a 3% happiness boost to people who follow our religion, which is going to be key. I could trade money for civic power or lose loyalty. This guy is a clan chief, so I might just accept this to keep him happy. Let's have a look. We've got a bit of stability. Is it 8 pop? I want to get this one lifted up as soon as possible before more pops die, because they're all really unhappy. Although they have really high unrest. That's bad. Even if I assimilate them, if I change the governor thing, here's what I'll do. I will lift up this city. Make sure I move you off so you're not confusing me. I'll lift up this city, drop 1 guy back down, look for a high pop city that I can settle on. Looks like we're going to send 6 over here, so we'll pull 1 off, send him to the capital, send you there, settle you in the capital, and this guy will produce money for us in the capital, money and manpower, but eventually we'll want to turn him into a citizen. We'll settle more guys down. You can see we're building up our capital province a little bit too. The unrest is too high in here, but once I settle there and switch to something a little bit more like local autonomy, that'll make these guys a little happier. I'll be able to lift these up as well, which will cut down their unhappiness. And I'll send these guys to settle back. And now I've got 11 troops to move. So I'm going to start splitting these up a little bit. So I'll send 5 to here, because I want to always be getting the most value. I'll send 5 to here, and 3 to here. 1, 2, 3 to there. And then I'll send the excess to my capital to, you know, settle on that and make me happier with more population and stuff. This is a really satisfying and fun way to play the game. I think it's way more fun than the original implementation, even if it's kind of broken. Like, let's be fair, right? I will be totally open and transparent. It's kind of OP. It's super OP, but it's also super fun that you can do this. Like, we're already settling like crazy amounts of cities. We have really good stuff going. Now, I do need to make sure I'm keeping lifting up these pops, and I want to get this place settled out and then lifted. I want to get all these pops out of here and advancing a lot across the plains. And so we're regaining stability. Awesome. And we have already completed the Cult of Mysteries, which is giving us a +3 boost to the happiness, which is going to make our slaves a little bit happier. The Cult of Mysteries there is giving us +3% happiness with these guys, although it doesn't seem to be having an effect just yet. But let's say I promote this guy. I think it's the stability or something is having a problem. But let's say I promoted this guy all the way up to be a citizen. You can see here, he's super unhappy because of the negative stability, but the Cult of Mysteries is giving him a +3. So I'm hoping that as we continue to invest religious endowments in here, things will get better and better. And eventually we're going to want to be doing Flavor of Nerthus and boosting our stability so that we get really high population growth so that we can just keep migrating by growing lots of pops. It's a really fun thing. I did a little test game and I had a lot of fun doing it. Let's have a look here. Tubantia could be lifted and shifted. So let's do it. And you can see it's only costing me 6.69, and we're only at negative 12% centralization. So slowly over time, this is going to get cheaper and more efficient. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to split this in half and settle on both of these. Now, I do want to be careful about the loyalty going down too quickly in here. Because it will tick down pretty fast as the people get less and less happy. Alright, so let's go ahead and send him some gold. I don't want my high priest to become disloyal, so what I might do is bribe him. How is the loyalty of my people? You've got loyal cohorts, you're a little bit upset. I'm going to bribe you to make you happier. That does cost me some of my own money, and it also increases my corruption, which is bad because it's going to make me pay more for power costs. But I think it's worth it to do to keep the stability of my realm high. We're slowly ticking upwards here. And it might be time to start lifting and shifting. I think I'm going to wait on Camorra because I've got some much higher population provinces here. This one's about to starve, so I'm going to quickly lift it up and prevent the starvation. And then quickly settle one back down. And I think we could drop these straight onto the capital to just start filling it up. I think that's a reasonable thing to do. More population. The capital is always loyal, so if we can keep the capital really highly populated, that's really, really good. And also, the capital city gets an extra production boost. You can see in here, the capital area, region, and city gets a plus 25% boost. So these guys are just way more efficient at their jobs compared to, you know, any other citizen. We're not getting any research, but I figured it would be okay to plug in a single citizen. We're going to want to keep these guys tribesmen until we can start doing this strategy while maintaining a high stability, a low centralization, and a high happiness for these guys. So it'll take some time, but we're getting there. Now, invention-wise, property tax would be good, because most of my money is coming from national tax from tribesmen, so I'm going to go ahead and take that one. Improve opinion, I'm less interested in. Starting experience is pretty good as a supply limit, but I think I'm going to save my points. Now, I could do an investment here, which would give me +1 building slot in every city in this province. I don't know if that's really worth it. Eventually, I'm going to want a lot of the civic points to upgrade my people to citizens. But, yeah. It's looking pretty good. Now, we could also do a centralized population to the capital thing here, and then build it up that way. However, that would lower the output of these guys. So for now, I'm just going to be doing it manually through lifting and shifting populations. We've also got this city over here, which has a decent number of people in it. So we're going to want to lift this up if we can next. Although we do have a slave who we will move to the capital. So we'll move you there. And then we'll move you to an adjacent city of Mediolana, Belgicum. And then we're going to move both of these guys to the... See here. Just have him flogged. That's the default. We'll move you guys to Isala. And then from Isala to the capital. Now, we are slightly overpopped in the capital, so we will be suffering a minus 25% population growth. That scales based on how big your population is and how many you have. He wants me to imprison my bodyguard. I don't want to spend stability on that, so I'm going to imprison him and then just release him. That's a pretty reasonable set of things to do. Fosia is giving me another warning. I'm going to decline. I'm going to try to prevent myself from going to war. And we have some slaves in the capital, which will mean we'll be able to produce more goods to sell via trading, which will produce us more cash. I think we also would like... we'd like to build a granary, so we're kind of saving up cash for that. This is the biggest city. This is the most efficient expenditure of our stability, so we'll drop you there. Now we want to look for a decent thing, although we need to be mindful of the negative happiness in here. So I'll send 5 to there. Maybe we'll send... Well, how much can it hold? Yeah, I'm going to send 5 to there, so let's do that. And then I've got 2 left over that I can move somewhere, hopefully with maybe a little bit of population. Or maybe I could stack it somewhere where I plan on lifting up soon. Yeah, I plan on lifting this up soon, so I'll just stack those 2 guys there for now so they produce a little bit of gold. Because it doesn't cost me anything. Like, the amount of pops you have... Oh, I should have had my capital here! This is adjacent to a major river. And it's a coastal port. Darn, 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 darn. This would have been way more optimal to have as my capital. Even so, this is still good. It's only a 15% bonus we're missing out on. Which, like, in the long run, is actually a lot. Here's what I'm tempted to do. I'm tempted to trick the game. But here's what I might do. If I select this province, and I move all of my guys to Lugadarium... So this will be the highest population province. And then if I lift in my capital, the capital should move here. Where did it go? Oh, it's here. No, but I can do it for 200 points. Okay, so I will put it there. And then I'll drop these migrants here. It does mean I lose my slaves, which kind of sucks, but it's fine. So we have quite a bit of overpopulation. I did not mean to join that league. Get me out of there. Shoot, I may have moved too many people in here too quickly. I'll move some out. I'll move some out real quick. Where do I plan to do a lift off? I'll move them over here to Badahanim. So whatever, any non... like my culture, I'll just move them. I think we can stay overpopped by 1 and be fine. Yeah. Even so, the negative happiness or the negative growth penalty is pretty painful. So we'll lift this up later. But that's fine. So yeah, you can see Fosia. We started out over here where we're 4 province minor with 9 population. Now we are a big, beefy 54 population minor. We're building up our power level. We have a decent monthly income that will get better over time. As we get the hang of things. Oh, we have this army sitting here and this army sitting here not doing anything. I should have planted those down. I got a bit distracted. It's not the end of the world. And that'll mean that our income is a lot better. But yeah, we should be seeing some great improvements soon. Once we clear this place out, what I might do is go over to centralized population, and this will start pulling population over to this capital province that I can start lifting up with. Let's see, an invitation to join for a religious festival. Let's go ahead. Just a festival for our people. So I'll spend a little bit of cash for that religious power, because then I can upgrade this again soon. Now, the local import routes is another good one to do. I also lost my bodyguard, so I should reassign. Oh, I need to have more stability, so tell you what we'll do. We will sacrifice a couple piggies to get our stability up above 30, and then we'll start migrating again. But I'll see you guys in the next episode. I hope you guys are enjoying this episode of Imperator Rome. Our plan is to basically try to fill out, and we'll pick up momentum as we get lower in centralization. See, we already have a 10% migration cost reduction. That's going to only get bigger. The amount of tribes in output is only going to get bigger, and the size of our clan retinues are going to get bigger, and our nation will just spread across the plains, preferably to Germania first, and then once we've filled up all the empty space in Germania, I might look to going to war with some of these guys. But until then, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!